Very good morning. Today our class is on TCP IP model under the topic Introduction to Networks and LAN Components. In the last class we have seen OSI reference model, which was 7-layer model. In this class we are going to see about TCP IP model. So our class is TCP IP model. So TCP stands for Transmission Control Protocol and IP transfer Internet Protocol model. So we are going to see what is meant by TCP IP, how it works in the computer networks, what is the importance of TCP IP, and what are the functions of TCP IP we are going to see in this class. So TCP IP means Transmission Control Protocol and Internet Protocol. So TCP stands for Transmission Control Protocol and IP transfer Internet Protocol. TCP/IP is the network model used in the current Internet architecture. So what is meant by protocol? So TC meant for a transmission control, I here stands for Internet. So P in the both contains P, it stands for protocol. So what is meant by protocol? Protocol is a set of rules which govern every possible communication over a network. There are number of protocols available in the network. Here there are two protocols, transmission control protocol and internet protocol. Nothing but the protocols are set of rules which govern and maintains the communication over a network. So that's why this TCP IP model is also called protocol suite. TCP IP model is also called protocol suite because it contains number of protocols in it which are used to maintain the communication over a computer network. So these protocols describe the movement of data between the source and destination or the internet. The protocols nothing but TCP, transmission control protocol, and IP, internet protocol, describes the movement of data between the source and destination and also the internet. They also offer simple naming and addressing schemes in internet. So this is a specialty of TCP IP model. A majority of the internet uses a protocol suite called the Internet Protocol Suite, also known as the TCP IP protocol suite. So this TCP IP model is known as TCP IP protocol suite because it contains number of protocols which maintains the communication over the network, and it controls and helps in movement of data between source and destination. This protocol suite is a combination of protocols which encompasses a number of different protocols for different purpose and need. Because the two major protocols in these suites are TCP, Transmission Control Protocol, and IP, Internet Protocol, this is commonly termed as TCP IP protocol suite. This protocol suite has its own reference model which follows over the internet. In contrast, with the OSI model, this model of protocols contains less layers. It means in OSI model there are 7 layers, whereas in TCP IP model there are 4 layers. In the advanced one there are 5 layers. The TCP IP model was developed prior to the OSI model. The OSI model was developed by ISO, International Standards Organization, but TCP IP was developed prior to the OSI model. The TCP IP model is not exactly similar to the OSI model. There are similarities, but it is not exactly similar to the OSI model. The TCP IP model consists of 5 layers: application layer, transport layer, network layer, data link layer, and physical layer. These are the 5 layers. Earlier it was 4 layers only. In the advanced version of TCP IP model, there are 5 layers. The first 4 layers provide physical standards, network interface, and internetworking, and transport functions that correspond to the first 4 layers of the OSI model, and these 4 layers are represented in TCP IP model by a single layer called application layer. And the number of layers in the TCP IP are 5 layers. Those are application layer, transport layer, network layer, data link layer, and physical layer. TCP IP is a hierarchical protocol made up of interactive modules, and each of them provides specific functionality. Here, hierarchical means that each upper layer protocol is supported by 2 or more lower level protocols. So here TCP hierarchical protocol suite. So it is made up of interactive modules. It means each upper layer protocol is supported by 2 or more lower level protocols. That's why it is called hierarchical. Here if you see the functions of TCP IP layers, there are layers: application, presentation, session, transport, network, data link, and physical. When you compare with OSI layer, these application, presentation, session are merged with the single application layer in the TCP IP. Transport layer is independent and network layers are independent, and data link and physical layer work together host to network. And these are the protocols: simple mail transfer protocol, file transfer protocol, domain name system, hypertext transfer protocol. These are all protocols works under the application layer of the TCP IP. And the presentation layer, session layer, which are present in OSI layer, are merged with the application layer. Whatever the works performed by this presentation and session layer and the OSI model, OSI reference model, are carried out by the application layer of the TCP IP layer. And transport layer contains HTTP, TCP, and UDP, user diagram program, protocol, and transmission control protocol, and other protocols supported in the transport layer. And the network layer, ICMP, IGMP, and IP Internet Protocol, RARP, and ARP. These are the protocols supported in the network layer. And data link layer and physical layer are host through network layers. And these are the functions and details of the TCP IP layers. So overview, if you see the overview of the TCP IP reference model, TCP IP, that is Transmission Control Protocol and Internet Protocol, was developed by Department of Defense Projects Research Agency, that is called ARPA, Advanced Research Project Agency, later DARPA, it has named as DARPA, as a part of research project of network interconnection to connect remote machines. So TCP IP developed by Department of Defense in the US by Project Research Agency as a part of research project of network interconnection. TCP IP can also be used as communications protocol in a private computer network, an internet, an intranet, or an extranet. The features of TCP IP reference model are: there are certain features: support for a flexible architecture. Adding more machines to a network is very easy. The network is robust and connections remained intact until the source and destination machines were functioning. The overall idea was to allow one application on one computer to talk to, send nothing but send data packets, another application running on a different computer. This is the main idea of TCP/IP reference. What is the main idea? The overall idea was to allow one application on one computer wants to talk or send data packets to another application running on different computer. The TCP/IP model helps to determine how a specific computer should be connected to the internet and how data should be transmitted between them. It helps to create a virtual network when multiple computer networks are connected together. The purpose of TCP/IP model is to allow communication over large distances. It is specifically designed as a model to offer highly reliable and end-to-end byte stream over an unreliable internet network. So TCP/IP helps to determine how a specific computer should be connected to the internet and how the data should be transmitted between them. And TCP/IP also helps to create virtual network when multiple computer networks are connected together. The main purpose of the TCP/IP model is to allow communication over large distances. TCP/IP is specifically designed as a model to offer highly reliable and end-to-end system byte stream over an unreliable internet network. TCP/IP protocol architecture model. The OSI model describes an idealized network communication with family of protocols. TCP/IP does not correspond to this model directly, but the TCP/IP either combines several OSI layers into a single layer or does not use certain layers at all. So some of the layers described in OSI layer also used in TCP/IP, and some of the layers are combined in TCP/IP, and some of the layers are not at all used OSI. Some of the layers of OSI layers are not at all used in TCP/IP model. As we said, TCP/IP is a protocol suite. The entire internet protocol suite is a set of rules and procedures, is commonly referred to as TCP/IP. So it is a protocol suite, nothing but it is a set of rules and regulations, set of rules and procedures. TCP and IP are the two main protocols, though others are included in the suite. There are other protocols also included, but the main protocols are TCP and IP. The TCP/IP protocol suite functions as an abstraction layer between internet applications and the routing switching fabric. The protocol suite functions as an abstraction layer between internet applications and the routing or switching fabric. The TCP/IP specifies how data is exchanged over the internet by providing end-to-end communications that identify how it should be broken into packets, addressed, transmitted, routed, and received at the destination. As we know, in the internet, while the data being sent in the form of packets, it means whatever the data we want to send over the internet, the data should be broken into packets, nothing but small chunks, and those packets are addressed to everyone. Each and every packet must have addressed, and those packets are transmitted and routed in the network and also received at the destination. And these all are works provided by the solutions provided by all the works taken up by TCP/IP protocol suite. The TCP/IP requires little central management, and it is designed to make networks reliable with the ability to recover automatically from the failure of any device on the network. So it helps to recover automatically when a device is failure in the network. So here protocols and networks in the TCP/IP model. These are the protocols and these are the networks. And when you talk about 5 layers of this TCP/IP protocol: application, transport layer, application layer, transport layer, network layer, physical and data link layer. So in this area, when the application and transport layer area, these are the protocols used: Telnet FTP, file transfer protocol, simple mail transfer protocol, domain name system. And in the transport area, transport layer, TCP, transmission control protocol, user datagram protocol are used. And the network area layer, internet protocol are used. And physical and data link layer, there are ARPANET, SATNET, packet radio, LANs are used. Generally we are using LANs, local area networks. So these are the protocols and networks used in the TCP/IP model. The TCP/IP protocol suite, the two main protocols in the internet protocol suite serve specific functions. What are these specific functions? What TCP does? TCP defines how applications can create channels of communication across a network. TCP also manages how a message is assembled into a smaller packets before they are then transmitted over the internet and reassembled in the right order at the destination address. The main work of TCP/IP is, as we just now discussed, every data must be divided into packets, and those packets are sent and transmitted over the network. And the source end, every data must be divided into packets, and those packets are transmitted over the network. And at the receiving end, those packets are reassembled in the particular manner, where at the source end how they were packeted, how they are divided into packet, and they are reassembled in the destination area, and then nothing but in the right order at the destination address. This works taken up by TCP/IP, managed by TCP. Whereas IP defines how to address and route each packet to make sure it reaches the right destination. Each gateway computer on the network checks this IP address to determine where to forward the message. A subnet mask is what tells a computer or other network device what portion of the IP address is used to represent the network and what part is used to represent hosts and other computers on the network. So here the TCP/IP protocol suite contains two protocols, TCP and also IP. So TCP/IP take care of assembling the smaller packets, nothing but dividing the smaller packets, managing the dividing and managing the smaller packets, transmitted over those packets must be transmitted over the internet and reassemble at the right order, in the right order at the destination address. This is the main work of TCP. And IP defines how to address and route each packet to make sure it reaches the right destination. So these two protocols, TCP and IP, works together to divide the data into packets transmitted over the internet, and also addressing the packets and routing the packets will be taken by TCP and IP protocols. The TCP/IP model has 4 layers here: process application layer, host to host, nothing but transport layer, internet layer, nothing, next one, and network access layer, that is also called link layer, it is also called data link, and also physical layer. And here four layers in the old model, and the new model there are 5 layers in addition to the network access layer, that is a physical layer. So here you can see application layer, transport layer, internet layer, and network access layer. So source sends the data, and application layer takes it, and then it handed over to the transport layer. then it handed over to the network internet layer, then it handed over to the network access layer, and at the receiving end also the network access layer handed over the data to the internet layer, and the internet layer handed over the data to the transport layer, and transport layer handed over to the application layer where the destination will take the data from the network. So what are the details about these layers? An application layer is the topmost layer in the TCP/IP model. It is responsible for handling high-level protocol issues of representation. This layer allows the user to interact with the application. When one application layer protocol wants to communicate with another application layer, it forwards its data to the transport layer. There is an ambiguity occurs in the application layer. Every application cannot be placed inside the application layer except those who interact with the communication system. For example, text editor cannot be considered in application layer, while web browser using HTTP protocol is protocol to interact with the network, where HTTP protocol is an application layer protocol. So here it is application layer topmost layer. It is responsible for handling high-level protocol issues of representation. The protocols used in the application layer. What are the protocols used in the application layer? Here HTTP, SNMP, SMTP. The HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. This protocol allows us to access the data over the World Wide Web. It transfers the data in the form of plain text, audio, and video. It is known as Hypertext Transfer Protocol as it has the efficiency to use in hypertext environment where there are rapid jumps from one document to another. So another protocol used in the application layer is SNMP. It stands for Simple Network Management Protocol. It is a framework used for managing the devices on the internet by using the TCP/IP protocol suite. Next protocol is SMTP, stands for Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. The TCP/IP protocol that supports the email is known as Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. This protocol is used to send the data to another email address. And another protocols are DNS, Telnet, FTP. DNS stands for Domain Name System. An IP address is used to identify the connection of a host to the internet uniquely, because any device which is connected in the internet is identified with an address, identified with some number. That number is called IP address. So this naming system is done by domain name system. But people prefer to use the names instead of addresses. Generally, in the internet, every device, we said, every device which is connected to the internet is identified with some address that is called IP address. So the general people, a common people, to remember all these addresses, unique numbering address system is very difficult. That's why instead of giving IP addresses, we have given names to the each and every system along with the IP address. So IP address generally used by the system itself technically, but the people cannot understand, general people cannot understand the IP addresses in nature. That's why names are given. That names are called domain names. And naming system is done by domain name system. Therefore, the system that maps the name to the address is known as domain name system. So every system must have an IP address along with a name that is called domain name. So common people can identify this any device on the internet. They can identify that device by their domain name, whereas technically that is identified with IP address. Next, Telnet. It is an abbreviation for terminal network. What is the use of Telnet? The Telnet establishes the connection between the local computer and remote computer in such a way that the local terminal appears to be a terminal at the remote system. Suppose in a larger network, So one person is working some area, and after some time, some days, after some days, the same person moved to some other area. So you want to use this system. If they are established a network, anywhere you can go where his computers your network existed, and there you can use the telnet protocol as if after connecting the remote computer, as if he can feel he is working on his terminal. So that is why the telnet, we can say telnet establishes the connection between the local computer and remote computer in a such a way that the local terminal appears to be a terminal in the remote system. Next protocol is FTP. FTP transfer file transfer protocol. The FTP is a standard internet protocol used for transmitting the files from one computer to another computer. So these are the protocols used in the application layer: HTTP, SNMP, SMTP, DNS, Telnet, and FTP. These are the protocols used in the application layer. So next layer is transport layer in TCP/IP model. The transport layer is responsible for the reliability, flow control, and correction of data which is being sent over the network. The transport is responsible for reliability, flow of control, and correction of data if it is failure, which is being sent over the network. The transport layer is responsible for maintaining end-to-end communications across the network. TCP handles communication between hosts and provides flow control, multiplexing, and reliability. The protocols used in the transport layer are user datagram protocol, TCP transmission control protocol, and stream control transmission protocol, SCTP. So these are the protocols used in the transport layer of TCP/IP. So if you see the details of these programs, UDP, user datagram protocol, it provides connectionless service and end-to-end delivery of transmission. What is the meaning? The UDP is an unreliable protocol and it discovers the errors but not specify the error. If any errors occurs during the transmission, the UDP, user datagram protocol, discovers the errors but it not specify the error. User datagram protocol discovers the error and ICMP protocol reports the error to the sender that user datagram has been damaged. UDP consists of the following fields: source port address, destination port address, the destination and total length, and checksum. So the destination port address, the source port address is the address of the application program that has created the message. And destination port address, the destination port address is the address of the application program that receives the message. The total length, it defines the total number of bytes of the user datagram, the bytes. So what checksum does? The checksum is a 16-bit field used in error detection. Error detection is most important in the networking. UDP does not specify which package is lost. UDP contains only checksum. It does not contain any ID of data segment. So here again the transport layer protocols. It contains header format, it contains source part address of 16 bits, destination part of address bit 16, and checksum is having 16 bits, total length bits 16 bits. So every header, every data must have an header with it. So it is 8 bytes and it's a complete variable. Next one is transport layer. Transport layer protocols we see. The main protocol in the transport layer is TCP, Transmission Control Protocol. TCP provides a full transport layer services to applications. TCP creates a virtual circuit between the sender and receiver. It is active for the duration of the transmission. TCP is a reliable protocol and is as it detects the error and retransmits the damaged frames. So TCP, it's a reliable protocol. It detects the errors and retransmits the damaged frames. Therefore, it ensures all the segments must be received and acknowledged before the transmission is considered to be completed and a virtual circuit is discarded. So TCP ensures all the segments of data must be received, must be transmitted and acknowledged before the transmission is considered to be completed. At the sending end, TCP divides the whole message into smaller units known as segment, and each segment contains a sequence number which is required for reordering the frames to form an original message. At the receiving end, TCP collects all the segments and reorders them based on the sequence numbers. So as we discussed, the TCP while sending divides the whole message into smaller segments, and each segment contains a sequence number which is required for reordering the frames to form an original message. At the receiving end, TCP collects all the segments and reorders them based on the sequence numbers. This is most important if you are dividing the data into smaller packets, and after transmitting over the transmission kind of media, at the receiving end, if the packets or segments are in zigzagged manner, there will be no use. So they must be organized, they must be ordered to get the correct data. So if they are not ordered, we cannot get the correct data. That's why. So we are using a technique called sequence number. We are assigning a sequence number for each and every segment data packet. And the receiving end, TCP collects all the segments and reorders them based on the sequence numbers. So next protocol is transmission protocol, is stream control transmission protocol. This protocol combines the best features of TCP and UDP protocols. It was discovered later to support newer applications such as voice data communication over the internet. So these are the protocols used in the transport layer: stream control transmission protocol, transmission control protocol, and user datagram protocols. These three protocols are used in the transport layer. Next one is internet layer. An internet layer is the second layer of the TCP IP model. An internet layer is also known as the network layer. The main responsibility of the internet layer is to send the packets from any network, and they arrive at the destination irrespective of the route they take. The protocols used in this layer are IP, Internet Protocol, ARP, and ICMP protocols. What are these we see? So the internet layer protocols are Internet Protocol. First we see among the three: Internet Protocol, ARP, and ICMP. So what is meant by IP protocol? IP protocol is used in this layer, and it is the most significant part of the entire TCP IP suite. So responsibility of the protocol are IP addressing, host to host communication, data encapsulation and formatting, fragmentation, reassembly, and routing. These are the functions of the IP. What is IP addressing? This protocol implements logical host address known as IP addresses. The IP addresses are used by the internet and higher layers to identify the device and to provide inter-network routing. Host to host communications. The internet protocol determines the path through which the data is to be transmitted. So number of routers are established in the network. So data must be transmitted over these routers by selecting the shortest path from source to destination. So this is provided by host-to-host communication provided by Internet Protocol. Data encapsulation and formatting. This is most important factor while sending the data. An Internet Protocol accepts the data from the transport layer protocol. An Internet Protocol ensures that the data is sent received securely. It encapsulates the data into messages known as IP datagram. Next, fragmentation and reassembly sections of Internet layer protocol. The limit imposed on the size of IP datagram by data link layer protocol is known as maximum transmission unit. It is the limit set by the data link layer. If the size of IP datagram is greater than the MTU unit, that is maximum transmission unit, then IP protocol splits the datagram into smaller units so that they can travel over the local network. Fragmentation can be done by the sender and intermediate router. At the receiver's side, all the fragments are reassembled to form an original message. Then routing. What is meant by routing? When IP datagram is sent over the same local network such as LAN, MAN, WAN, it is known as direct delivery. When source and destination are on the distant network, then IP datagram is sent indirectly. This can be accomplished by routing the IP datagram through various devices such as routers. This is the routing. So other internet layer protocols are ARP protocol. ARP stands for Address Resolution Protocol. ARP is a network layer protocol which is used to find the physical address from the IP address, so to deliver the data. The two terms are mainly associated with the ARP protocol are ARP request, ARP reply. When a sender wants to know the physical address of the device, it broadcasts the ARP request to the network. That is nothing but Address Resolution Protocol. ARP request and ARP reply. Every device attached to the network will accept the ARP request and process the request, but only recipient recognizes the IP address and sends back its physical address in the form of ARP reply, Address Resolution Protocol. The recipient adds the physical address both to its cache memory and to the datagram header. So another internet layer protocol is ICMP. ICMP stands for Internet Control Message Protocol. ICMP is a mechanism used by the hosts or routers to send notifications regarding datagram problems back to the sender. A datagram travels from router to router until it reaches its destination. If a router is unable to route the data because of some unusual conditions, such as disabled links, a device on a fire or network congestion, then the ICMP protocol is used to inform that the sender that datagram is undeliverable. An ICMP protocol mainly uses two terms, ICMP test, ICMP reply. ICMP test based to the test whether the destination is reachable or not. And CMP relay. CMP relay is used to check whether the destination device is responding or not. The core responsibility of the ICMP protocol is report the problems, not correct them. It simply reports the problem. It won't correct anyway. The responsibility of the correction lies with the sender. ICMP can send the messages only to the source but not to the intermediate sources, because the IP address carries the address of the source and destination but not of the circuit router that it is proposed to. So next one, network access layer. A network access layer is the lowest layer of the TCP/IP model. A network layer is a combination of physical layer and also data link layer defined in the OSI reference model. So network layer is combination of physical and data link layer. Network access layer defines how the data should be spent physically through the network. This layer is mainly responsible for the transmission of the data between two devices on the same network. The functions carried out by this layer are encapsulating the IP datagram into frames transmitted by the network and mapping of IP addresses into physical addresses. The protocols used by this layer are Ethernet, Token Ring, FDDI, X.25 and Frame Relay are the protocols used by these layers. So Ethernet token ring and frame ring. The protocol used Ethernet. TCP/IP, the physical and data link layers in the TCP/IP model does not define any protocols. They support all the standard protocols. They are combined known as host to network layer, a network in which TCP/IP internet can be LAN or WAN. Then how we are going to see how TCP/IP works. TCP/IP uses a client-server model of communication in which a user or machine or client is provided a service like sending a web page by another computer server in the network. Collectively, the TCP/IP suite protocols is classified as stateless, which means each client request is considered new because it is unrelated to the previous requests. Being stateless frees up the network pushes so that they can be used continuously. The transport layer itself, however, is stateful. It transmits a single message and its connection remains in the same place until all the packets in the message have been received and reassembled at the destination. So TCP/IP transmits a simple single message, and its connection remains in place until all the packets in the message have been received and reassembled at the destination. The TCP/IP model differs slightly from the 7-layer OSM internet connection. 7-layer OS network model designed for it. After it, the OSI reference model defines how applications can communicate over a network. So this is a communication from source this to application, application to TCP/IP, TCP/IP and network model. This is application header, TCP header and data together, and internet protocol header, here network header. The internet works by using a protocol called TCP/IP or transmission control protocol and internet protocol. TCP/IP is the underlying communication language of the internet. In base terms, TCP allows one computer to talk to each other computer via the internet through compiling packets of data and sending them to a single location. A packet, sometimes more formally referred to as a network packet, is a unit of data transmitted from one location to another. So in that communication, all the data which we are going to send is divided into small packets. Those small packets are transmitted over the network. Much like that atom is the smallest unit of a cell, a packet is the smallest unit of transmitted information over the internet. So generally, a cell is a atom is the smallest unit of cell. So we can say in terms, packet is also smallest unit of transmitted information. Defining the TCP, and indicated in the name, there are two layers TCP/IP. The top layer TCP is the responsible for taking large amounts of data, compiling it into packets and sending them on the either way to be received by the fellow TCP layer, which turns the packets into useful information and data. The bottom layer TCP is the locational aspects of pair allowing the packets of information to be sent and received to the correct location. If we think about IP in terms of map, the IP layer serves as a packet GPS to find the correct destination. Much like a car driving on a highway, each packet passes through a gateway, nothing but computer, signs on the road, that is, signboards on the road, which serve to forward the packets to the right destination. In summary, TCP is the data, IP is the internet location GPS. The entire internet protocol suite is set of rules and procedures is commonly referred to as TCP/IP. TCP and IP are the two main protocols, though others are included in the suite. The TCP protocol suite functions an abstraction layer between internet applications and the routing or switching fabric. The TCP/IP specifies how data is exchanged over the internet by providing end-to-end communications that identify how it should be broken into packets addressed, transmitted, routed, and received at the destination. So, so it is the work of TCP/IP is it should divide the data into packets, and those packets are addressed, and those packets are transmitted, and those packets are routed and received at the destination end. How the TCP/IP protocol handles the data communications. When a user issues a command that uses a TCP/IP application layer protocol, a series of events is initiated. The user's command or message passes through the TCP/IP protected protocol stack on the local system. Then the command or message passes across the network media to the protocols on the remote system. The protocol at each layer on the sending host add information to the original data. So what is data encapsulation and TCP protocol suite? The packet is the basic unit of information that is transferred across a network. The basic packet consists of a header with the sending and receiving systems addresses and a body or payload with the data to be transferred. So packet, basic unit of the information that is transferred across the network is packet. Here what packet consists? Packet consists of header with the sending and receiving systems addresses. So packet must contain sender address and also receiver address, and a body, packet body, that is nothing but payload and with the data to be transferred. As a packet travels through the TCP/IP protocol stack, the protocols at each layer either add or remove fields from the basic header. So as these packets travel through a TCP/IP protocol, it may add the protocols each layer either add remove fields, some of the fields from basic headers, removed from the basic headers. When a protocol on the sending system adds the data to the packet header, the process is called data encapsulation. So what is encapsulation? When protocol on the sending system adds data to the packet header, the process is called the data encapsulation. So how a packet travels through the TCP/IP stack? Here sending host login as or login in host. The information is sent to the transport layer, that is nothing but TCP segment. So after deciding the TCP/IP protocol, TCP protocols in this area, then internet protocol datagram takes over the information from the transport layer and it applies some rules and regulations, and then in the data layer it converted into frame, and frame is connected to the physical network layer. In the same sense, in the receiving end also, the frame coming from physical network layer is given to the data link layer. Data link layer again it gives to the IP datagram. The data link, the internet layer, then it takes information frames from the data link layer, physical network layer, and added over to the internet layer. And IP datagram is added over to the TCP segment, that is nothing but transport layer here, and after that it reaches to the receives request for login. This is network media. Application layer, where so these are the functions of layers. The first we see the application layer. What application layer does? What is the function of application layer? Where a communication originates. Generally in the TCP/IP, communication originated from application layer. The packet's history begins when a user on one system sends a message or issues a commands that must access to a remote system. The application protocol formats the packets so that the appropriate transport layer protocol TCP, UDP can handle the packet. Transmission control or user datagram protocol can handle the packet. So next one, transport layer, where data encapsulation begins. When the data arrives at the transport layer, the protocols at the lower start the processing of data encapsulation. The transport layer encapsulates the application data into a transport protocols and data units. The transport layer protocol creates a virtual flow of data between the sending and receiving application, differentiated by the transport and port number. The port number identifies a port, a dedicated location in the memory for receiving or sending data. In addition, the transport layer protocol must provide other services such as reliable in-order data delivery, and the end result depends upon the TCP, SCTP and UDP and its information. Next one, TCP segmentation. TCP is often called a connection oriented protocol because TCP ensures the successful delivery of data to the receiving host. The TCP then divides the data that is received from the application layer into segments and attaches a header to each segment. Segment headers contain sending and receiving sending and receiving parts, segment ordering information and the data flow field. It is known as checksum. The TCP protocols on both hosts use the checksum data to determine if the data transfers without error. So these are the duties of transport layer where data encapsulation begins. Then establishing the TCP connection. TCP uses segments to determine whether the receiving system is ready to receive the data. When the sending TCP wants to establish connections, TCP sends a segment that is called sync SYN to the TCP protocol on a receiving host. The receiving TCP returns a segment that is called an acknowledgement to acknowledge the successful receipt of the segment. The sending TCP sets another acknowledgement segment, then proceeds to send the data. This exchange of control information is referred as three-way handshake. UDP packets. UDP is a connectionless protocol. Unlike TCP, UDP does not check the data arrived at the receiving host. Instead, UDP formats the message that is received from the application layer into UDP packets. UDP attaches header to each packet. The header contains the sending and receiving ports, a field with the length of the packet and checksum. The sending UDP process attempts to send the packet to its peer UDP process on the receiving post. The application layer determines whether the receiving UDP, the process knowledge the reception of the packet. UDP requires no notification of receipt. UDP not use the three-way handshake. So these are the protocols, the functions used in the transport layer. Next, internet layer, where packets are prepared for delivery. The transfer protocols UCP, TCP, UDP and SCTP pass their segments and packets down to the internet layer where the IP protocol handles the segments and packets. IP prepares them for delivery by formatting them into units called IP datagrams. IP then determines the IP address for the datagrams so that they can be delivered effectively to the receiving host. Then IP datagrams. IP attaches an IP header to the segment or packet's header. In addition to the information that is added by the TCP or UDP, information in the IP header includes the IP addresses of the sending and receiving hosts, the datagram length and the datagram sequence order. The information is provided if the datagram exceeds the valuable byte size for the network packets and must be fragmented. Next one, data link layer, where framing takes place. Data link layer protocols such as PPP format the IP datagram into frame. These protocols attach a third header and a footer to the frame the datagram. The frame header includes cyclic redundancy check, that is CRC, field that checks for errors as the frame travels over the network media. Then the data link layer passes the frame to the physical layer. The physical network layer where frames are sent and received. The physical network layer on the sending host receives the frames from the frames and converts the IP addresses into the hardware addresses appropriate to the network media. The physical network layer then sends the frame out over the network media. These are the works done by physical network layer, where frames are sent and received. How the receiving host handles the packet. After receiving, how the receiving host stores the packets. When the packet arrives on the receiving host, the packet travels through the TCP/IP protocol stack in the reverse order from order which it was sent. Moreover, each protocol on the receiving host strips off the header information that is attached to the packet by its peer on the sending host. So at the receiving host, the following process occurs. What is the process? The physical network layer receives the packet in its frame form. The physical network layer computes the CRC of the packet, then sends the frame to the data link layer. The data link layer verifies that the CRC for the frame is correct and strips off the frame header and the CRC. Finally, the data link layer protocol sends the frame to the internet layer. The internet layer reads the information in the header to identify the transmission. Then the internet layer determines if the packet is a fragment. If the transmission is fragmented, the IP reassembles the fragments into the original datagram. IP then strips off the IP header and passes the datagram onto the transport layer protocols. The transport layer protocols TCP, SCTP and UDP reads a header to determine which application layer protocol must receive the data. Then TCP, SCTP or UDP strips off its related header. TCP, SCTP or UDP sends the message over the stream and receiving application. The application layer receives the message. The application layer then performs the operation that the sending host requested. This is how receiving end handles a packet. The merits of TCP/IP model are: it operated independently. TCP/IP is scalable. It is having client-server architecture. It TCP/IP supports a number of routing protocols, and TCP/IP model can be used to establish a connection between two computers. So if you see the differences between OSI and TCP/IP model, generally OSI reference model contains 7 layers and TCP/IP contains 5 layers. And if you compare this application presentation session layer of the OSI reference model are correspondence to the application layer of the TCP/IP model, and transport layer corresponds to transport layer in the TCP/IP, and network layer also corresponds to network layer on the TCP/IP, and data link and physical layer are combinedly corresponds to the network interface layer of the TCP/IP layer. So like this we can differentiate the OSI, 7-layer OSI and also 5-layer TCP/IP model. If you this is the summary of differences between OSI and TCP/IP models. The OSI model developed by ISO International Standard Organization. The TCP/IP model developed by ARPANET Advanced Research Project Agency Network. OSI model provides clear distinction between interfaces, services and protocols. TCP IP does not have any clear distinguishing points between services, interfaces and protocols. OSI refers to open system interconnection, and TCP refers to transmission control, and IP refers to the internet protocol. OSI uses the network layer to defining routing standards and protocols. TCP/IP uses only the internet layer. OSI follows vertical approach. TCP/IP follows horizontal approach. OSI model uses 2 separate layers, physical and data link layer, to define the functionality of the bottom layers. And TCP/IP uses only one layer, that is link layer, data link layer. OSI layers have 7 layers. TCP/IP has 4 layers in the old model. In the advanced model, TCP/IP has 5 layers. Sorry. OSI model, the transport layer is only connection oriented. A layer of the TCP/IP model is both connection oriented and connection less. In the OSI model, the data layer, data link layer and physical layer are separate layers. In TCP/IP, physical layer, data link layer both combined as a single host to network layer. Session and presentation layers are not part of the TCP model. There is no session and presentation layer in the TCP model. It is defined after the advent of the internet. It is defined before the advent of internet. It means OSI layer defined after the advent of internet. But this TCP/IP model is defined even before the advent of the internet. The minimum size of OSI header is 5 bytes. Here in the minimum header size is 20 bytes in TCP/IP model. So these are the differences between OSI reference model and TCP/IP model. So thank you. This is all about the TCP/IP model. We have discussed it lengthy. TCP/IP stands for Transmission Control Protocol and Internet Protocol. We have discussed about this TCP/IP model in this class. Thank you.